Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday from an dark 30 again. Been up since 5. What else is new? I don't sleep. Uh, Before we get started, real quick, just to let everybody know, yes, I know last night's live stream has disappeared again. I've already been in contact with YouTube to get it restored, so hopefully it should be up sometime today. So, if those of you guys who missed it want to watch the replay, it should be up sometime. I got to wait for them to send me the email so I can say yes, it's legally allowed to do it. Yada yada yada. Happens before, happens every once in a while. So we'll get it back up. There's some interesting information in there. Anyway, that's why I'm trying to get them to hurry on it. But all right, so let's get into this morning. Interesting stuff that we talked about last night, and I've done some more digging on it to find out exactly what's going on. And what I have found is not exactly what's going to make everybody happy. Like, we didn't have enough reasons to put stuff back. So last night we talked about, all of a sudden, a few of you guys had said your Walmarts are stocking water everywhere, like every spare space of aisle was stacked and stacked and stacked with water. And we were trying to figure out what's going on. And it was like, okay, what does Walmart know that we don't? Well, found out last night and this morning here, digging in. I guess there was a story that came out yesterday. Well, not a guess. I mean, I found countless ones on it here. That uranium was found in 2/3 of the U.S. municipal water systems. Now, remember what we went through back, what was it, 2014, I think, somewhere thereabouts, when it started with Flint, Michigan, and the lead in water, okay? And the, oh my God, this is insane. Yeah, okay, lead in the water is not good, all right? Uranium ain't any better. Now, not that you've got to worry about getting radiation sickness. I mean, obviously, we all know what uranium's used for. But uranium is another radioactive metal, another metal in the water, okay? Now, I want you to think about this. 90% of the United States relies on municipal water somehow. The other 10% of us either don't have any water or are on wells. Try saying that one, okay? Now, can't say anything about the well water. I mean, I've got well water, but not a whole lot of worry about uranium here. So, what does uranium do? Well, uranium in the water will give you hypertension, okay, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, kidney damage, and lung cancer. Ooh, gee, can I have 2, please? All right, so this is worrisome. Now, what's even scarier, because remember how we go back to 2014, is, oh my God, it's because it's Flint, Michigan is a heavily black community and the governments don't, give a rat's ass about the black community. And that was played out for years and, certainly in political campaigns. All right. Don't have to remind you that Flint has been a Democrat city for God knows forever. Okay. Here's the interesting part. 90% of the communities that tested positive are heavily Hispanic. Now, okay, you think about, what does that mean? Oh, I don't know. Okay, is it, again, we don't, the governments don't care about the minority population? Yeah, as much as all the tongue lapping that the government does, we all know that the only time that the government cares about the minority population is in front of an election. And then they're forgotten for 4 years. And then, oh my God, we're your best friend again. Okay. 90% of the uranium contaminated water is basically a Hispanic population. Where do 90% of Hispanics live, more than actually, urban and suburban areas. Okay, so let's think about this again. Just like Flint, who's in charge of what party is in charge of pretty much every city in the United States? Okay. So we go in again to the politics of this. And this study goes all the way back to 2001, guys. Okay. So this isn't a Joe Biden thing. This isn't a Donald Trump thing, whatever it is. I mean, 2001, okay, that's talking about 2 terms of Bush, 2 terms of Obama, 1 term of Trump, and 1 year, not 1 lifetime, of Biden. Okay. So this crosses party lines on a federal level. But on the city levels, this is a Democrat problem. All right. So now, do we understand why Walmart's stocking water? Funny that the same time this story comes out, Walmart put everything they could in the way of water out there. Guys, store water. I can't tell you. A lot of people asked last night if Berkey's will take certain things out of water. You know, somebody asked if it took out the chemical smell out of the water that comes from the Great Lakes or whatever it would be. That I don't know. That's going to be a question to ask Berkey or whatever. I mean, Berkey's pretty much the best out there. You know, Alexa Pure and Berkey are your 2 creme de la creme water purifiers. Will it take out heavy metals? I'm assuming, but you know what they say about assuming, okay? That'd be a question that if anybody has, call Berkey, and if somebody finds out the answer, please let me know so I can let everybody else know too. Okay, so just saying there. But yeah, it might be a good time to go stock up on a whole hell of a lot of water, especially if you're one of the 90% of the people that lives in a municipal, on a municipal water system. I might also want to go get checked out by the doctors, okay? Because like I said, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, heart disease, okay? Kidney damage and lung cancer. Gee, not a whole lot of those are, real, let me extend my life. I'm prepping to live longer. That ain't going to do it. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, so before we move on, I want you to take a look at this map. And this will show, so you know where the most contaminated areas are. Now, the map shows barium, chromium, selenium, and uranium in there, okay? And yes, this is from the U.S. Geological Society. So, I mean, I'm not, going to worry about the source on it. Okay, Columbia University is the one that got it. Granted, I'll give you this. The maps show back to 2011, but it's not like all of a sudden everything got cleaned up. It's the first time you're hearing about it. All right. So, barium, selenium, those don't look terrible. All right. But if you look at chromium, okay, if you live in Wisconsin, you live in Nebraska, the major metropolitan areas in Arizona, and for the most part, the major metropolitan areas in New Mexico, those are the hardest hit for chromium in your water. But look in the lower right-hand corner for uranium, all right? Entire state, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, 90% of California, okay, are all showing highly elevated levels of uranium in the water. And again, like I talked about there before, where Hispanics live, primarily, okay, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas seems to be a little bit better. Gee, I wonder why. Okay, but throw that in there. So if you live in one of these areas, even more. I mean, I look at the Southeast, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, we don't seem to have any problems. Ohio, Michigan, Iowa, Arkansas, Missouri, they all look pretty clean. All right, so don't have to freak out if you're there. But if you're west, definitely. All right, so that's the first one. Second thing I want to talk about that we talked on yesterday was the H5N1 Bird Flu. Now, I mentioned last night, that we are now up to 24 million birds culled because of bird flu. It was 17 million on the 6th. Okay, so that's numbers from yesterday. So in 3 days, we went up 7 million, or about 30%. Before anybody completely freaks out about the next pandemic, okay, yes, bird flu can be transferred to people. I'm going to say this. However, there has been no cases in the United States. There has been one case worldwide, and that's somebody in the UK who lived, an elderly person lived surrounded by ducks. Okay, so I'm giving you this. What makes this bird flu more worrisome than the one we had in 2015 is this one seems to be hitting the wild birds more, which means it's a lot more transferable. And how does it transfer? Bird feces, okay? Bird poop. Bird flies over, poops, it lands in your chicken pen, your chicken steps in it, walks into the coop, and now you've got an outbreak of bird flu in your chicken. You have to cull them all. And just so you know how the government's doing this, you have one case in your flock, they have to eliminate everything. Talked about last night about there's one guy I read a story on who's really worried. He's got 400,000 chickens. Imagine the money that he's got invested in those chickens. One bird gets bird flu, he's wiped out. I mean, that's millions of dollars, guys. Okay. So how does that affect us? Well, story out of Wisconsin. Obviously, a lot of farms up there, everything like that. They are saying expect eggs to triple in price from here, from where we are now, guys. All right. And we've already seen eggs easily double in price from here. You're paying, and I'm not talking about organic, cage-free. I'm talking about regular white eggs. Large eggs is already about $3 a dozen. We start paying $9 a dozen for eggs. Nobody's eating eggs. Okay. Then you also start talking about eating chicken as a whole. Chicken is the #1 protein consumed by the United States and primarily by most of the world. A, because it's plentiful. B, because it's cheap. You can raise chickens to slaughtering size a lot faster than pigs or cows or anything like that. So chicken is the #1 protein in the world. If chicken starts getting cost prohibitive, or not starts, but continues to get cost prohibitive, you have a serious problem. Now, like I talked about last night, not only are we talking about the proteins from chicken, but you start thinking of anything that you eat that's got eggs in it. Okay? Pasta, bakery, anything like that. Any recipe you have that needs eggs, gone. And you start talking about pastas. Pastas are a staple in a lot of countries. I mean, Italy. Okay, let's just use that as an example. You need eggs and flour to make pasta. Okay, now you don't have anything. Pasta and rice are basically the most popular carbs. Include potatoes, I guess, would be the third one in the world. You start taking out that kind of food, we start having food problems really quick. So, if you have the ability to, if you know somebody who raises chickens, obviously let them know if they're not already aware, okay? But if you have the ability to get eggs in any way you can, there are many ways to store eggs. You can dehydrate them if you've got, freeze dry them if you've got a freeze dryer. Then again, not a whole lot of us have a $4,000 freeze dryer sitting in the kitchen. You can freeze them, not the whole egg, okay? Take it out, scramble the eggs, put them in a sandwich bag, flatten it out, freeze them, all right? Now you've got eggs you can use for baking or whatever you need to do. You can also use it for making scrambled eggs or whatever. The days of eating your sunny side up eggs, me, my over medium, those may disappear for a while. because if we have triple the egg prices and we have a shortage in eggs, gee, like everything else, okay, shortages, this could become a problem. So a couple of things to think about today as you're heading out to church. If you're stopping off at Walmart on the way, might be worth it to pick up some extra eggs, maybe some extra chicken if it's on sale, some extra water. Word to the wise. Have a good Sunday. Pinball out.